Every story in our lives has a beginning, middle, and end. Yet we often resist acknowledging when something has run its course. Whether it's a relationship, a career path, or a life stage, endings can be deeply uncomfortable. They stir up fear, uncertainty, and sometimes a sense of failure. But to truly grow, we must first recognize when it's time to let go. Acknowledging the end is not about giving up, it's about having the courage to face reality and honor the natural cycles of life. Endings can feel like a defeat, but they're often a gateway to transformation. Consider the seasons. When winter comes, the trees let go of their leaves. They don't cling to what's gone or resist the inevitable change. Instead, they prepare for renewal. Similarly, we must allow ourselves to embrace endings as a necessary part of life's rhythm. Denying the end only prolongs pain and hinders the growth waiting on the other side. It's like holding onto a book after the final chapter, refusing to close it even though the story is over. Often, we avoid endings because they force us to confront the unknown. What happens next? Will we be okay without this relationship, job, or identity we've grown attached to? These questions can feel overwhelming, but they're also an invitation to trust ourselves. Life has a way of guiding us even when we can't see the path ahead. The key is to release our grip on what's familiar and trust that something new is waiting to unfold. Acknowledging the end also means letting go of the what-ifs. We replay scenarios in our minds, wondering if things could have been different, if we had acted another way or made different choices. While reflection is valuable, dwelling on the past keeps us stuck. The truth is, not everything is meant to last forever. Some things are in our lives for a season, teaching us lessons or shaping our journey, and then their time is up. Clinging to what's no longer serving us only delays the peace we could find by moving forward. This doesn't mean that endings are easy. They're often accompanied by grief, confusion, and even anger, but it's in these moments of discomfort that we find our greatest strength. When we acknowledge the end, we create space for honesty with ourselves and others. Pretending that something is still working when it's clearly not only deepens the hurt. Facing the truth, however painful, is an act of self-respect. It says, I value myself enough to let go of what's no longer aligned with my purpose. Acknowledging the end is also about honoring what was. Even if the ending comes with pain, there were likely moments of joy, growth, and connection along the way. Take the time to reflect on these. Celebrate the good, even as you release the bad. This practice allows you to close the chapter with gratitude instead of resentment. It shifts your perspective, helping you see endings not as failures but as natural transitions. Sometimes, fear of judgment keeps us from ending things. We worry about what others will think or say. Will they see us as weak? Will they misunderstand our decision? But remember, this is your journey, not theirs. The courage to acknowledge an ending is a deeply personal act of empowerment. It's about choosing authenticity over appearances. Staying in situations that no longer serve you just to avoid criticism only leads to a life of regret. Think about the stories you've heard of people who found incredible growth after acknowledging an end. A person leaving a toxic relationship discovers self-love. Someone quitting an unfulfilling job finds their passion. These transformations happen not because endings are easy, but because they open the door to something better. But that door remains closed until you take the brave step of saying, this is where it ends. Finally, acknowledging the end is not about having all the answers. You don't need to know exactly what's next. All you need is the willingness to take that first step. Trust that life will meet you there. Trust that the same courage it took to begin this chapter will carry you through to the next. And remember, every ending is also a beginning in disguise. By acknowledging the end, you're giving yourself the gift of a fresh start, a chance to rewrite your story with clarity and intention. Pain is a natural part of life, but it's one that we often try to avoid at all costs. When something hurts us, a loss, a betrayal, or the end of something we valued, our instinct is often to numb it, bury it, or pretend it doesn't exist. However, the truth is that the only way to truly heal is to allow ourselves to feel the pain. Avoiding it only postpones the inevitable, while facing it head-on is a courageous act of self-care that ultimately leads to growth. In a society that often glorifies strength and resilience, there's a misconception that feeling pain is a sign of weakness. We're told to keep busy or stay positive, as if experiencing sadness or anger is something to be ashamed of. But the reality is that pain is not an enemy, it's a teacher. When you allow yourself to feel it, you gain a deeper understanding of your emotions, your needs, and your capacity for resilience. Suppressing pain may seem like an easier path in the short term, but it creates emotional baggage that weighs us down over time. Feeling pain is uncomfortable, but it's also necessary. Imagine a physical wound. If you ignore it, it might fester and become infected, causing more harm. But if you tend to it, even if cleaning it stings, the healing process begins. Emotional wounds are no different. They need acknowledgement and care. By sitting with your pain, you're giving yourself the chance to process it and ultimately release it. It's through this process that healing becomes possible. Many people fear feeling pain because they think it will consume them, that if they let the floodgates open, they might never stop crying or hurting. But emotions, like waves, come and go. They rise, crest, and eventually recede. When you allow yourself to feel the full extent of your pain, you often find that it's not as endless or overpowering as it seemed. In fact, avoiding it tends to amplify its presence. Unfelt pain lingers in the background, influencing your thoughts, decisions, and interactions in ways you might not even realize. Giving yourself permission to feel pain is an act of self-compassion. It's saying, I deserve the time and space to heal. This might mean crying when you need to, journaling to express your feelings, or talking to someone you trust about what you're going through. It's about recognizing that your emotions are valid and that it's okay to not have everything together. Too often, we try to mask our pain to appear strong for others, but true strength lies in vulnerability. Allowing yourself to feel pain is not about wallowing, it's about honoring your humanity. Pain often reveals the depth of what mattered to you. When you feel pain after losing someone or something important, it's a testament to the love, effort, or connection you invested. It's a reminder of your capacity to care deeply, and that's something to be proud of, even in the midst of hurt. By allowing yourself to feel this pain, you're also allowing yourself to honor the significance of what was lost. It's important to remember that pain is a temporary state, even if it doesn't feel that way in the moment. While in the throes of sadness or heartache, it might seem as if the hurt will last forever, but it won't. Pain, like all emotions, is transient. By feeling it fully, you're giving it permission to pass through you rather than getting stuck within you. Think of it as a storm. You can't stop the rain, but you can let it fall, knowing that the sun will eventually break through. Sometimes allowing yourself to feel pain also means letting go of the need to understand everything. You might not know why something happened or what purpose it serves, and that's okay. Pain doesn't always come with immediate clarity. Part of the process is sitting with the uncertainty and trusting that, in time, the meaning will reveal itself. Lastly, allowing yourself to feel pain is a step toward reclaiming your power. It's saying, this hurt me, but it will not define me. Pain may shape you, but it doesn't have to break you. By facing it, you're taking control of your healing journey, rather than letting the pain control you. You're proving to yourself that you can endure a process and grow stronger from even the most challenging experiences. And that is a prof. Every experience in life, no matter how painful or challenging, carries a lesson. However, these lessons are not always immediately clear. Understanding them requires introspection, patience, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Pain is often life's way of redirecting us, nudging us toward growth and self-awareness. While it's tempting to focus solely on the hurt, choosing to uncover the lesson hidden within can transform even the darkest moments into opportunities for growth. When something goes wrong, our initial reaction is often to ask, why did this happen to me? This is a natural response, but staying in this mindset can trap us in a cycle of victimhood. To move forward, it's important to reframe the question, what is this experience trying to teach me? By shifting your perspective, you can begin to see pain not as punishment, but as a tool for growth. Life's challenges often reveal things we might not have noticed about ourselves, others, or our circumstances. They illuminate areas where we need to grow, set boundaries, or realign with our true selves. Understanding the lesson doesn't mean justifying what happened or excusing hurtful actions. It's not about blaming yourself or anyone else. Instead, it's about extracting wisdom from the experience. For example, a betrayal might teach you the importance of trusting your instincts or the value of setting boundaries. A failure could highlight areas where you need more preparation or show you a new direction you hadn't considered. By focusing on what you can learn, you regain a sense of agency over your life, even in situations where you felt powerless. Sometimes the lesson is about recognizing patterns in your life. Do similar situations keep happening to you? Are you drawn to certain types of relationships, jobs, or environments that ultimately don't serve you? Pain can act as a spotlight, illuminating recurring themes that you might have overlooked. Recognizing these patterns gives you the power to break them. It's an invitation to change your approach, make different choices, and create a better future for yourself. The process of understanding the lesson requires honesty. It's not always easy to admit our own role in a situation, but self-reflection is essential. This doesn't mean blaming yourself, it means taking responsibility for your part in what happened. Did you ignore red flags? Did fear or insecurity influence your decisions? By asking these questions, you gain clarity and can avoid repeating the same mistakes. At the same time, be gentle with yourself. Growth is a process, and understanding the lesson takes time. Pain also teaches us about our resilience. When we face challenges, we often discover strengths we didn't know we had. Perhaps you learned that you're capable of standing up for yourself, or that you can survive even when things feel unbearable. These lessons remind you of your inner power and help build confidence for future obstacles. Every time you overcome a difficult experience, you add to the foundation of strength and wisdom that will carry you forward. Sometimes the lesson is about letting go of control. Life is unpredictable, and not everything can be planned or understood immediately. Accepting this uncertainty is a lesson in itself. It teaches you to trust the process, to have faith that even when things don't go as expected, they are unfolding as they should. This doesn't mean passively accepting everything that happens, but rather finding peace in knowing that you're doing your best with what you can control and letting the rest unfold. Understanding the lesson also involves gratitude, even for the painful moments. This can feel counterintuitive, but when you reflect on how an experience has shaped you, you may find reasons to be thankful. Perhaps a tough situation pushed you to pursue a new opportunity, strengthened a relationship, or deepened your understanding of yourself. Gratitude doesn't diminish the hurt, but it helps you see the broader picture and focus on the growth that came from the pain. Remember that understanding the lesson is not always immediate. Sometimes it takes weeks, months, or even years to fully grasp what an experience was meant to teach you. Be patient with yourself as you process your emotions and reflect on what happened. The lesson will reveal itself in time, often when you least expect it. Until then, trust that every experience, no matter how painful, is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Ultimately, understanding the lesson transforms pain into purpose. It allows you to take something meaningful from even the most difficult experiences and carry it forward into the next chapter of your life. When you look back on your journey, you'll realize that those moments of struggle were not setbacks, but stepping stones that led you to where you're meant to be. The pain may leave scars, but the lessons it imparts can guide you toward a wiser, stronger, and more authentic version of yourself. Healing is not a one-time event, it is a journey, often unpredictable and deeply personal. Committing to the healing process requires intention, effort, and patience. It's an act of self-love, where you prioritize your well-being and take active steps toward becoming whole again. The journey may be uncomfortable at times, but it is also transformative, leading you to a stronger, wiser, and more authentic version of yourself. The first step in committing to the healing process is acknowledging that it won't happen overnight. Society often glamorizes quick fixes, promising instant relief or a speedy recovery from emotional pain. But real healing takes time. It's a gradual process that unfolds in layers, and each layer requires care and attention. This means being patient with yourself and understanding that there's no set timeline for healing. Some days you'll feel strong, while other days the hurt may resurface. Both are part of the process, and neither defines your progress. A critical aspect of commitment is being willing to confront your emotions rather than suppressing them. Healing is not about pretending everything is okay when it's not. It's about allowing yourself to feel the full range of emotions: sadness, anger, confusion, or even relief without judgment. These emotions are valid, and they are your mind and body's way of processing what you've been through. By facing them, you give yourself permission to release the pain instead of letting it linger and fester. Another important part of committing to the healing process is seeking support. Healing does not have to be a solitary journey. Sometimes the weight of pain is too heavy to carry alone. Reaching out to friends, family, or a therapist can provide the comfort and guidance you need. These people act as anchors, reminding you that you are not alone and that your experiences are valid. A trusted support system can also help you gain perspective, offering insights and encouragement when you need them most. Self-care is essential in the healing process. This goes beyond occasional indulgences and extends to creating routines that nurture your mental, emotional, and physical health. It might mean getting enough rest, eating nourishing foods, or engaging in activities that bring you joy. It could also involve practices like meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature to quiet your mind and reconnect with yourself. Self-care is not selfish, it's a necessary foundation for healing. When you prioritize your well-being, you create the conditions for growth and renewal. Healing also requires forgiveness, not necessarily for others, but for yourself. We often hold on to guilt or shame about things we could have done differently or ways we feel we've fallen short. Part of committing to the healing process is letting go of these self-judgments and recognizing that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, freeing you from the weight of the past and opening the door to self-acceptance. Another key component is staying open to growth. Pain and healing often come with lessons about who you are, what you need, and how you want to move forward. Be willing to reflect on these lessons and let them guide your next steps. Healing is not just about returning to how things were before, it's about evolving into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. This growth may involve redefining your boundaries, pursuing new goals, or reimagining your relationships. Embrace these changes as part of the healing process. It's important to remember that healing is not linear. Progress may come in waves, with moments of clarity and relief, followed by periods of setback or struggle. This doesn't mean you're failing, it's simply the nature of the journey. Celebrate small victories along the way, whether it's a day when you feel lighter, a moment when you laugh again, or a decision to prioritize your needs. These milestones are signs that you're moving forward, even if the path isn't always straight. Committing to the healing process also means being gentle with yourself. Speak to yourself with kindness and compassion, as you would to a dear friend going through a tough time. Replace harsh self-criticism with understanding. Remind yourself that healing takes strength and courage, and you are showing both simply by choosing to move forward. Ultimately, committing to the healing process is about choosing yourself. It's about saying, I deserve to heal. I deserve to peace. I deserve to be whole again. This commitment doesn't mean the pain disappears immediately, but it does mean you are actively working toward a brighter, healthier future. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward reclaiming your joy and finding peace within yourself. The healing journey is yours. And with each passing day, you're building a foundation for a life filled with greater love, resilience, and purpose. Letting go of what no longer serves you is one of the most liberating yet challenging steps in personal growth and healing. It requires courage to release the people, habits, beliefs, and situations that weigh you down. Holding on may feel safe because it's familiar, but it often keeps you stuck in cycles of pain, preventing you from embracing the life you truly deserve. Releasing what no longer serves you is not about forgetting or dismissing your past. It's about freeing yourself to move forward with clarity and purpose. One of the biggest barriers to letting go is fear. Fear of change, fear of the unknown, or fear of being alone can make us cling to things even when they harm us. You might convince yourself that staying in a toxic relationship is better than facing loneliness, or that holding on to a limiting belief protects you from failure. But these fears are illusions. They keep you from recognizing your strength and potential. By releasing what no longer serves you, you make room for something better, new opportunities, healthier connections, and a more fulfilling sense of self. Letting go starts with honesty. Take a moment to evaluate what's truly serving you in your life and what's not. This could include relationships that drain your energy, habits that undermine your goals, or self-doubts that keep you small. Ask yourself, does this situation bring me joy? Does it align with my values and aspirations? If the answer is no, it's time to consider letting it go. Being honest with yourself about what isn't working is not easy, but it's necessary for growth. Releasing what no longer serves you also involves forgiving yourself and others. Holding on to resentment, anger, or regret ties you to the very things you want to move past. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior or forgetting what happened. It means choosing not to let it control you anymore. By forgiving, you reclaim your power and focus your energy on healing and moving forward. Sometimes the hardest things to release are the ones that once served you but no longer do. A job that was once fulfilling may now feel stifling. A friendship that brought you joy may now cause pain. Recognizing that something no longer serves you doesn't diminish its past value. It's okay to outgrow people, places, and roles. Growth often requires shedding the old to make way for the new, just as a snake sheds its skin or a tree lets go of its leaves. Letting go is not about erasing the past, it's about redefining your relationship with it. The memories, lessons, and experiences remain with you, but they no longer dictate your present or future. For example, releasing a painful experience doesn't mean it didn't matter or that it didn't hurt. It means you've decided not to let it hold you back. You acknowledge its impact, learn from it, and choose to move forward without carrying the emotional burden. Releasing what no longer serves you often means setting boundaries. Whether it's with people, commitments, or your own thoughts, boundaries protect your energy and ensure you're investing it in things that align with your values. Saying no to something that drains you is an act of self-respect. It allows you to redirect your time and attention to what truly matters. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters, letting in what supports your growth and keeping out what doesn't. This process also involves trust in yourself, in the universe, or in life's unfolding. When you release something, there's often a void, and that can feel unsettling. But trust that letting go creates space for better things to come. Think of it like cleaning out a cluttered closet. It may feel empty at first, but it's now ready to be filled with things that truly bring you joy and serve your needs. Letting go can be emotional, and that's okay. It's normal to feel sadness, anger, or fear as you release attachments. Allow yourself to grieve the loss of what you're leaving behind, but remind yourself of why you're letting it go. Visualize the freedom, peace, and possibilities that await you on the other side of this process. Each time you release something that no longer serves you, you take a step closer to your authentic self. Finally, remember that letting go is not a one-time act, it's a practice. There may be times when old thoughts, habits, or relationships resurface, tempting you to hold on again. Be compassionate with yourself when this happens. Reaffirm your commitment to letting go and focus on the progress you've made. Over time, this practice becomes easier, and you'll find yourself more attuned to what aligns with your highest good. Releasing what no longer serves you is an act of self-liberation. It allows you to step into your power, focus on what truly matters, and create a life that reflects your values and aspirations. It's a bold declaration that you are worthy of peace, joy, and growth. By letting go, you're not losing anything, you're gaining freedom, clarity, and the chance to build a life that serves you fully. Moving on from the pain of the past and stepping into a future free from its grip is one of the most liberating choices you can make. It's a process that signifies growth, strength, and a renewed sense of self. To embrace the freedom of moving on is to acknowledge that while the pain may have shaped you, it does not define you. It's about reclaiming your power and stepping boldly into a life where joy, peace, and new opportunities await. Freedom begins with acceptance. Accepting that the past cannot be changed allows you to release the grip it has on your present. Dwelling on what ifs or replaying old scenarios only keeps you trapped in a loop of regret. When you accept that what's done is done, you free yourself to focus on what lies ahead. This doesn't mean you erase the memories or ignore the lessons. They remain part of your journey, but you no longer allow them to hold you back. Moving on doesn't mean forgetting. Instead, it's about integrating the past into your life in a way that empowers you rather than diminishes you. The experiences you've gone through, no matter how painful, have contributed to your growth and resilience. They've taught you valuable lessons about yourself, your boundaries, and your values. When you embrace the freedom of moving on, you honor these lessons while choosing not to let the pain control your story. Freedom also comes from letting go of resentment and bitterness. Holding on to anger or blame might feel justified, but it ultimately ties you to the very source of your pain. Forgiveness is a powerful act of liberation, not for the person who hurt you, but for yourself. By forgiving, you're not condoning what happened, you're choosing to release its power over you. This act allows you to reclaim the emotional energy that resentment drains, redirecting it toward building a brighter future. One of the most beautiful aspects of moving on is the space it creates for new beginnings. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you make room for what does. This could mean forming healthier relationships, pursuing passions you've set aside, or rediscovering parts of yourself that were overshadowed by pain. Moving on allows you to align your life with your authentic self, creating opportunities that reflect your growth and aspirations. Embracing freedom also means rediscovering joy. Pain often dims our ability to see the beauty and possibility in life. As you move on, you begin to notice the small moments of happiness that might have once felt out of reach: a heartfelt conversation, a walk in nature, or the satisfaction of pursuing a goal. These moments remind you that life is still full of promise and wonder. Joy becomes not just a fleeting feeling, but a state of being you can cultivate as you heal. Moving on requires self-trust. It's about believing in your ability to navigate the unknown and make choices that serve your well-being. This trust might have been shaken by past experiences, but each step forward strengthens it. With every decision to prioritize your growth, every boundary you set, and every time you choose hope over despair, you reinforce your confidence in yourself. This trust is the foundation of your freedom, allowing you to move forward with clarity and courage. Another element of freedom is the realization that you are not defined by your pain. Often we internalize the hurt we've experienced, letting it shape our identity. But you are more than your hardships. You are the lessons you've learned, the resilience you've built, and the love you still have to give. Moving on allows you to rewrite your narrative, focusing not on what you've lost, but on what you've gained and what you're creating. Moving on is also an act of gratitude. It's a recognition of the life you still have and the opportunities that lie ahead. Gratitude doesn't negate the pain you've endured, it shifts your focus to the abundance that remains. When you embrace the freedom of moving on, you're choosing to see the good in your life and to build upon it. This shift in perspective transforms your outlook, making you more open to the possibilities that await. Ultimately, embracing the freedom of moving on is about stepping into your power. It's a declaration that you will no longer be held hostage by the past. It's a choice to prioritize your peace, pursue your dreams, and live a life that reflects your worth. Moving on doesn't mean the journey is over. It means you're ready to begin a new chapter, one filled with hope, possibility, and the freedom to be exactly who you are meant to be. The act of moving on is not the end, it's a beginning, a powerful, liberating step into a brighter future.